Hey, good evening, everyone. UC here from iTradePrices. It is February 8th, Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. You can tell I have nothing else to do. So thought of making some video and just going over a couple of charts. And then Annie had asked me, since she has been broadcasting the dot indicator for the past few weeks now, there have been some questions, and I tried to answer them in my recent videos, but some few more questions came up, and I thought it would be nice to kind of just go over that. Okay, so let me bring the chart here. So one of the questions was, what are those lines that everybody that you see on the chart, right? What are these? So these are simply support and resistance lines based on multiple time frames. So if the color is blue, that means it's an intraday time frame, like an hourly or a 5-minute key level resistance or support. And if it's a yellow one, it's a weekly level. That means it carries more weight because it's a weekly support or resistance level. And if it's a white color line like this, that means it is a daily key level, right? So depending on if the price is above or below that level, it will act as a support or a resistance, right? So that is that. And I keep updating those intraday levels throughout the day, so you can see them on the YouTube live. But I do share them in the Discord as well, and I think Annie does post them whenever she gets a chance on the Facebook group that she's a member of. So okay, so you got that now, what these lines are. And another good question was that if we are watching these dots live, what can be a good way to use this information and trade, right? So I'm not going to go into the detail of what these dots are. You can, you already know what those are, right? But I think a good way is, there is no good way. What I mean to say is that, it's just you have to create some sort of a systematic approach towards taking those trades. One of them is that once the dot appears, you can wait for the price to pull back into these clouds, EMA clouds. You can pick whichever cloud you want to, kind of trade it off of. So for example, this one turned blue. You could put your trade somewhere in the middle of this green cloud, right, which is the EMA cloud. And or you can wait for the blue cloud, right, as long as the dots are blue. And if it is something you want to be more aggressive, then you might want to get into NinzaRenko view. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for now, one of the questions was that why would you still take this trade if the blue dot appeared close to the weekly resistance? I personally would not, but still, if you're an active and aggressive trader, you can scalp, right? Let's say this turned blue right there and you don't want to buy, you're buying somewhere in the cloud, right? You're wanting some pullback, and you would have gotten this entry around 928, 927. Let's say even if you got in at the close of this first minute red bar, right, over here based on the dot, your entry would be 921, 945. It went down till 26. So almost 19 points, and then went back up towards 68. So almost 45. So about 20 points up, right? So you could scalpable position, right? So it is. So yeah, that's how you can trade, or you can just wait for the price to pull back into this 50 EMA zones, right? I know Annie likes to trade these. So it's a systematic approach, right? Do we know, or does she know that the price will not stop her out if she enters a short here? No, right? This is just based on the back-tested data, based on the approach that we're trying to take. So if you follow this strategy, you want to come up with something else, that's totally fine, right? There is no right or wrong approach to this thing, right? Somebody could say, hey, I would like this. I don't like this 50 EMA. I like the 100 EMA approach, right? So you can definitely take that. You don't have to take on a 50 EMA. You can wait for the price to come towards 100 EMA, right? This push might have taken it to the 100 EMA. Or you can say, hey, I'm not going to trade that much like that. I'm going to only trade when the price is moving nicely in a direction. It's not like kind of sideways choppy kind of. I'm going to drill into a NinzaRenko view. So for example, this is last Friday, right? February 7th. So this price started moving down really aggressively from, like, let's say you missed this bar. It was a quick drop, right? So 10 o'clock, right? 10:01 till like 10:15, right? So if you go into the NinzaRenko chart at this time, 10:15, right? Let's see, from 10 to 10:15 on Friday. Let's go there. Okay. So yeah, there was some, I think Trump dropped the tweet and then everything kind of tanked from there. Okay, these are all my trades. Let me just get rid of these. Don't want to confuse you. All right. So 10 o'clock, 10:01, something like that, right? So you could say that this is a NinzaRenko chart and I'm going to wait for the price to pull back above 100 EMA before taking the short, right? And so that means the price pulled back above 100 EMA here. You could have taken the short here, or you could have taken the short here, depending on how you want to trade, right? Or you can just say, hey, I'm going to wait for the price to pull back above, and then once again, if this EMA cloud on the NinzaRenko chart turns yellow, I'm going to short right there. So you would have found out right there, so you would have shorted right there. You know, that approach is fine too. You know, you would have gotten this nice move to the downside, but you have to be really super fast, or use, you know, I personally use this tool that we developed, the auto cloud tool, right? So in this one, let's say you pick whatever template you want to go with. Let's say you apply, and let's say you activate this thing, strategies. Okay, remove this one right there. Okay. So let's say, so with this tool, you can tell the strategy, the tool, to trade when the price gets above, let's say, 100 EMA. You can put that filter right, that EMA filter right there, right? And you can enable that filter. You can choose the direction that you only want shorts, and you can also choose the cloud to be enabled or disabled. When you enable the cloud, that means it will only take shorts in the yellow cloud, and it will only look for longs in the blue cloud, right? You can do all that, and you can define the strength of the pullback. Do you want anything more than 5 bars? You can put that right there. Or you want more than 10 bars, or if you put the 0 in there, that means you want the first pullback, right? You don't care if it's 10 bar pullback, 3 bar pullback, you just want the first pullback and short, right? So you can use that kind of a tool in NinzaRenko just to kind of have fast execution, right? So just thought I'd put it out there. So let's review this past week. When was the week started? It was 3rd of February, right? So let's go to 3rd of February, right there, right in the morning. Okay. So Monday morning, right? Again, depending on how you want to trade, this could have been a quick scalp or a stop, right? Because the price did not really move much above. Let's say you would have taken the long right here after the first pullback, you know, a red bar. It did not go up. It maybe like 10 points, something like that, and then it dropped, right? So you would have gotten stopped out on that one. And by the time it went to 50 EMA, the dots were gone. So that meant no long trades, right? So you're not waiting. Again, this would have been a stop if you had taken it, but it only stopped after the first dot. Nothing here. Look at this one, right? So this is a good example. Now the run really started, right? Again, while the dots are blue, you can go into the NinzaRenko and trade similarly, or you can just, you know, trade in a 1-minute chart and look for a pullback in the cloud zone. You could have gotten here if you were aggressive, or if you were looking for a deeper pullback, right here you would have gotten a nice entry and it gave you nice points, right? Over here as well, 50 EMA. This is Annie's entry. I know she likes to play this 50 EMAs. So that was a long entry. This was again a long entry on midday. All these long entries paid like, you know, good 20 points, 25 points in some cases. So yeah, and this one right there would have stopped you out, because if you had bought right there after the 50 EMA touchdown, it went down, right? So it would have stopped you out. This short, by the time it pulled back into the 50 EMA, it had stopped giving you purple dots, so no trade, right? Wow, this was a nice run on Monday, right? It started right here. And again, if you were not buying in these clouds for quick scalps, you can wait for the 50 EMA touch and would have got a nice move. This one did not go all the way down, so would not have been a trade. But again, if you entered here in NinzaRenko, since it's riding the cloud, that is a good entry, right? And then you have all these other, you get the idea. This was probably what I'm going to stop if you were not, quick in taking that profit, so on and so forth. Okay, so nice, decent day. Monday, let's check out Tuesday. Okay, let's go to the market open, 9:30 right there. So that's where the dots appeared. And you can see we did not get any pullbacks in this time into the 50 EMA. And that will happen when the price is riding nicely this long cloud. And that's the time when you want to drill into NinzaRenko. So let's go and check that out. February 4th, 9:50, 9:40, something like that. Okay, so let's check that out in that view. Let's go to Feb 4th. All right, let's go to 9 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so the rally started around 9:30 right there, right? So if you had enabled this tool, right, and had, put the settings to get you in below the 100 EMA, right, that means your entry would have been somewhere over here or somewhere over here, because this green line is the 100 EMA, so it would have entered, it would have, given you entries right there and then. Yeah, so you would have gotten some nice points, but I'm just trying to tell you how to trade this in NinzaRenko when you're not getting the pullbacks and you just want to kind of trade that at that very particular point in time. Okay, otherwise here are the 50 EMA entries right there. Touch point, nice points, good points. This one have been a stop, right? This one again, probably if you were playing in these clouds, sure, would have gotten some nice move to the downside, but by the time it got into the 50 EMA line, nothing there, so no trade. This one right here, I mean, you could have gotten an entry or not. I don't know if Annie did that or not, but she has this note here, so she might have taken it without the dots. But again, it gives you an idea of what to do and how you can incorporate these into your setups. Okay, let's get to Wednesday. I know that was probably not a very good day with the dots, but let's see. Well, yeah, I mean, you could have not if you were fast enough. I know Annie and I, we can take quick profits, so don't mind that. But hey, let's say it's a stop, right? Don't mind that. Stops are good. Keeps your accounts from blowing away. This was a good entry into the cloud. Moved up nicely. No 50 EMA. Again, if you want to just buy it off of the touch of 50 EMA, this could have been, but there was no bar closed below it. The only bar that closed below it here in this move up is right here, and it would not have stopped you out, or at least would not have stopped us out, because we usually take a 20-point stop loss. So around 80 entry, did not go to 60, so you would have seen a nice move to the upside, right? And again, beautiful time to be in the NinzaRenko and trading this right off of the cloud when the cloud, this. So good run over there. Some 50 EMAs, not huge points, but hey, good scalpable kind of entries, right? So blue is overall, it stayed blue. The dots stayed blue. It kept you getting into, wanting you to get into the long setups, not the short setups, because the market was like that, and it did a good job of keeping you in the direction, right? I like that. Let's see, Thursday. This was a yucky day. I don't know why. Oh yeah, long trade. 50 EMA would definitely, well, what was the entry right there? Around 98, something like that. It could have or could not have stopped you out before it gave you move that. Again, it depends on your fill, right? Because this baby closed at, what was the close price? The close price was 97.5 and the low was 77.78. So it would not have stopped you out. You would have been okay here had you gotten that fill, which usually you should have because it was moving down pretty aggressively at that point in time, right? Long entry here would have stopped you out because it did not really go up that much from there. Stop, again, this one would have been a stop. It did not really move after it gave you dots. And then pretty much nothing. The sideways action, again, 50 EMA would have paid, but if you were aggressive here, it wouldn't have stopped you out. So no strategy works every day, right? I mean, there are days and then you kind of build your template so that you keep your risk to reward in your favor, so that even if you're 50% or 45% of the time you're right, you're still net positive, right? That's what you want to consider. This would have been a nice 50 EMA entry. Okay, so let's go to Friday. This last one right there, pretty active day throughout the day. So again, see, you are so close. We already talked about this, to the resistance, weekly resistance, which carries the most weight, right? So the price was having a hard time trying to break out of this 21,962, which was previous week's high. So taking an entry here would have meant either scalp quickly, raise your stop loss quickly, or just ignore the trade. So this one paid really nice, right? Dots started right here, pull back into this cloud zone, boom, down, right? Over here, again, if you would have gotten anything, but price did not really go into the cloud, so nothing there, but there you have nice 50 EMA entries right there. Again, this 50 EMA is something that we like. You don't have to do that, right? So just kind of putting it out there. It's not really set in stone or anything like that. It's just an approach, right? So again, waiting for entries into these red zones could have paid. This would have been a stop, right? If you were trading here and if you caught it, nice move down. Again, another 50 EMA would have paid, right? Again, if you are trading in NinzaRenko here, would have given you good points in this time period from 11:30 till 12. Okay, another 50 EMA would have paid. It got you almost at the top here, 67, and then a nice drop. This would have been a stop right there if you're entering, right? And then it kept on going up, but we know we're not going to short if the price is above 50 EMA and trending like that, right? So any indicator will have a certain amount of lag. So it started again around 13:45. Beautiful entries in the Renko chart would have been in this area, right? Or you could have shorted in this cloud as well and still enjoyed. This one right here, 50 EMA entry, something like, well, depending on where you entered, it could have been under here or here, and it would still have taken care of you, right? So anyways, just wanted to review this past week and answer a few of your questions that came to me via any. So hopefully I was able to address those. Just wanted to review a couple of more charts with you for the coming weeks while we are here. Let's take a look at Tesla. Let's take a look at NQ first, actually. So here's the weekly view of NQ, right? The uptrend line that started in the late to 2022, early 23. We have seen 1, 2, and could be the third one coming now. Well, at some point we will see that touch. We don't know just when, but right now it looks like, if I zoom in a little bit, this support level, right? This was the resistance level on the way up, and once we broke out of that, market tested that level multiple times and kept on bouncing, but it failed for this past 2 months to kind of get above this level, and we saw a rejection from this downtrend line this last week, right? And now if we go down, break down, then definitely this is the next major support zone around 20,000, right? And this uptrend line here. So it could be a magnet if we really don't move back up. If you look at the daily view Here is the rejection on Friday of this downtrend line, right? Oops, picked the wrong tool. This one right here, this one right here, and a rejection, right? So now if we break this level, right, so price has not been able to really rally once it gets above this 21,700, 800 level, right? So once we start seeing that, we can say, okay, it's breakout or something. But until then, it's weak, and we can start moving back towards at least this zone first, right? That's where we have these multiple touch points. Okay. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Let's take a look at the weekly view first, right? Let me get rid of this. So here we are. So overall, you know, pretty weak, I would say. And in the weekly area that we were bouncing off of in the past few weeks was this one. And this past week we closed below that, which is 372.7. So the next major level is around just above 340, and then we have this 326 towards the downside. So if we drill into the daily view, here is you know, you can see every time it touched that level, we saw a nice bounce in the past, right? And we saw the bounce, but then we did not see any follow through upside to fill this gap, and now we moved down. We saw a hammer bar on Thursday, but Friday it reversed and closed back under 372.7, which is kind of, you know, concerning. So if you look at the left of the chart, this was the area, right? This was the area the breakout started from. So we are testing that. We might see a pause here, and if we see a pause and couldn't get back above 373 area, we are really headed down towards 326, right? That's where we have these next major support zone. So something to consider. Strength is only if we can get back above this Friday high, right? And then we have this, let me pull the levels. There you go. So we have this downtrend line and all that stuff. And if you look in the hourly view, it is a little bit more clear, right? That's how we broke down. This is where we came down from and broke down this level, right? Broke down, retested, trying to get back above, couldn't get, and then, you know, trapped the buyers and closed back really weak. Okay, so now something that I can look for is either short like this or move into this area, gets rejected, move down. Okay, because definitely we can adjust this downtrend line to include all this price behavior, this price level right now. So this is how we are, right? We can go back, move up. If we cut back up right there, boom down or boom back up. Okay, NVIDIA saw some strength on Friday, rarely, you know, given the rest of the market was falling down pretty bad. So a bullish engulfing weekly bar, right? With a nice, good, solid range. So I think if the market opens down, you know, this could end up being an inside week for NVIDIA, right? Something like that. And then who knows? But for now, it's just range bound. It's not really going anywhere. So not really have a good read on this chart, even on the daily. It's just, you know, right there. Unless you can play a short if you are wanting and seeing that the market is going down, because this is the level, right? We saw these bounces. One sec, let me adjust that. There you go. Why does it keep changing? Okay, so we saw the bounces from this level, right? So now this is a good retest of that level, so we can see a rejection back too. So again, here are the levels. This is how it looks like in, let's say, a shorter time period, like a 30-minute view. We have this uptrend line, right? Price can come back down towards this uptrend line, bounce, or if it gives up, then we have 122, 120, 118. If it needs to go back up, I really need to see a close back above 130. I think that's where the weekly resistance kind of is at this time, right? And to be honest with you, if you look at other charts, like for example, all these mega caps, right? Apple, kind of weak, right? You see these rejection bars, right? These big gap up, open, and then sell-offs. So that's not the sign of the underlying bullish market, but so that means it's volatility, right? We will have these big swings, the type of environment we are in right now, right? Microsoft, after earnings has not really gone anywhere. Yeah, we saw a bounce and then it just nothing, right? It's just weak, right? If you kind of zoom out a little bit, that's not a, a bullish looking chart, right? So Google, sold off after earnings. Yeah, earnings were good, everything, market does not care, and it closed back under 191. And now if it gives up this uptrend line, we have this gap fill towards 176, right? Amazon, kind of same story, testing this uptrend line right here. Earnings, yes, we saw a nice move. Actually did not see a nice move after earnings. So yeah, it just weak under 235. We can see a little bit of bounce, and then if this 235 is not taken care of, we can head back down, right? So trend is up for now, but it's at risk with this. So keep this sort of an uptrend line as your guide to see what happens there in the short term. So just wanted to kind of give you guys a little update on the charts and all that stuff. We still have our swings open in Accenture, I believe. We posted them, the updates, in the Discord. I will review the updated charts and post them in the morning tomorrow as well, Sunday. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions about the dots or anything else, let me know. You can always email me. Always happy to help. Thank you and have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.